What's up there, flaccid flexers? I am decided I'm going to do another video in my long line of videos that I film when either I'm really fucking bored, or I just decide, oh no, you know what, I have like 18 whole subscribers, maybe I should probably fucking do something so that they have an excuse to watch my videos and, you know, don't feel stupid for subscribing to me and shit. So here we are. On my way to Sikeston, Missouri with a load of delicious warm moist chocolate. I had a couple days off at home just to recuperate from Georgia, you know, acclimatize to the sub-freezing weather again. And I don't fucking care, get off the CB, fucking hobo. Where was I? So I had an interesting weekend. I may have maybe renting a home. I haven't really like delved super deep into like my home life, which I would probably try to keep somewhat of a private thing. But at the same time, I tell everybody about all my fucking trials and tribulations, so why should I care? I used to live in a town with I'm a gamer, right? I think for a lot of people that watch trucking videos, that probably might seem a little weird. Like, I'm a big fat fucking nerd. I play all kinds of games. I used to have like a supercomputer I built myself and all that nerdy shit. I've got a lot of hobbies, right? Plenty of them are outdoorsy and, you know, involve exercise, and then, you know, a couple of them are, well, there's video gaming and, you know, a bit of band and all that crap. You know, for the longest time I had basically the best computer you could get in the market, and I had just with the fastest internet you could get available in Canada, which was pretty good. When I was, this was, again, we're going on 2-3 years ago here, I lived with my parents. It was typically, my father decided that he would never charge his kids rent, especially when I began driving truck, and I, you know, wasn't home very much. I was staying out for a week, 2 weeks at a time, as much as my dad was, so my impact on the house was fairly minimal. And it was his rationale that, like, why would you go out and spend money on an apartment that you're only in for a few days a month? But, you know, as you get older, like, I'm 30 now, and as you get older, you're like, okay, I want to move out, right? I want to have my own place, spread my wings and all that stupid nonsense. So I lived with my parents, my father, and he decided he wanted to move out into the country. So him and his wife, they found a piece of land they really liked. There was a house being built on it already. They fell in love with it. It was their dream home, their dream location. So they moved. The one caveat to that particular house was there is no internet service. Initially, there was nothing. Like, there was not even, you know, dial-up internet. There was no internet service available at that house. Given that at the time, gaming was a large portion of my free time, you know, a lot of my real-life personal friends have moved far afield, like some went down to Toronto, which is not that far. I mean, it's a little over an hour away from me. You know, I have one friend that moved to Newfoundland, which is like fucking 30 hours away from me, so that one's kind of a bit of a stretch. But gaming was a great way for all of us to keep in touch without, like, sitting on the couch on the phone with somebody, like, literally bored to tears because you're focused on sitting on the phone. You know, you can play games and shoot your friends or go drive or do a drag race together or whatever, right? So losing the ability to do that was actually, like, I'm not a particularly social person, but, you know, I like having the option to socialize, even if I don't use it. So once that option was gone, it's like, okay, what do I do here? Like, you know, I've still got several friends that are in the area that I can go visit, but then you run into issues where they're only available for a couple of hours. You know, my brother is my closest friend, but he is a very busy person. He's got more of a normal life than I do, so he works a 9-to-5 type of job. But he's got, you know, he's married, so his wife kind of takes up a lot of his free time or social life, whatever you want to call it. I mean, she's very laid back, and she's not particularly, she's not demanding of time or attention, right? Like, we've kind of given her the honor. She's one of the bros. Like, she's easy to hang out with, and she's really got a good girl. But he's, you know, oh no, me and Emily, we're gonna watch a movie tonight or something like that. Like, he kind of, a lot of times he would prefer to spend time with his girlfriend over his friends, right? So it's not really her. It's not her putting it on him or anything. It's him kind of putting it on himself, which is fine. Again, as people get older, typically, you know, as you get married or start having kids, your family unit becomes your entire social life. So, you know, they don't have kids, probably never will, but they do have 2 cats, a dog, and a snake. So, you know, he's got lots of reasons to occupy his time. So for me to drive 45 minutes to hang out with him for 2 hours and then drive 40 minutes home is kind of senseless, right? So online gaming would be the easiest, right? You know, before my father moved to the country, my brother and I lived in the same house. He moved out and bought his own place in town. So same thing, right? He's only 5 minutes away, if that, and we got all kinds of internet. We could play games together and do everything. And now, when my dad decided to move in the country, my brother offered to let me move in with him for a year. Him and his wife weren't married yet. They decided, you know what, like, we could, you know, the extra income will help us out to get ready for the wedding. But it was clearly stated, like, once they got married, they wanted the house to themselves. So I was going to get a year, and that would give me a year to kind of, I guess, decide what I wanted to do. The year came and went, and I'm very, very bad at planning ahead for the future. So I really hadn't done anything. I was really left with no choice but to move back in with my parents. Probably could have got a place if I put some money away right away. Didn't think about it that hard. Kind of got hooped by the lease purchase company I was working for at the time. So I just, you know, the old man's like, yeah, we got a room here for you. It's been your bedroom since we moved here. It's ready for you. So moved in. But it's, again, that's where you kind of I encountered the lack of internet. So, like, case in point, I was home for 3 days. The first day I was at my work, running around the yard, helping a friend of mine who's coming to work at the company I work at to get set up. Second day was basically a lot of the same. I went and gave him a hand, drove him around, but we had to get some stuff sorted out. His truck had to be dropped off at our yard to get a bunch of, like, tanker-specific things installed on it. And, you know, the last day, like yesterday, I literally sat at home and kind of played video games or did whatever by myself. Like, it's the middle of the week. Like, who's doing anything? You know, most, you know, all my friends are working, and when they're done, like, they've got plans. Like, my brother had a chiropractic appointment after work, and, you know, by the time, like, he gets home at like 4:30, 5 o'clock, walks the dog, you know, gets dinner, goes to his chiropractor appointment for 7. By the time he gets back, it's 8, 9 o'clock, he goes to bed, right? So, really kind of sat around and did nothing. So it's like, fuck, this is starting to kind of suck. And again, aside from just going out on my own to some sort of club or a bar or by myself on a weeknight to try to fucking meet people, it's kind of weird. So, you know, it can, again, there's that difficulty of trying to have a social life as a truck driver. That's pretty, a lot of guys will talk about. Again, it doesn't faze me too hard. It's just when I do want to, you know, socialize with people, it's typically, again, it's because I'm in a situation where I can't. So it's like, fuck, this sucks. So my buddy who's starting at this company, and another friend of mine, kind of presents me with this idea. They want to all rent a house together. So it's an idea I had thought of previously, but hadn't bothered to bring up yet. And it is a mutually beneficial idea. You know, again, it can definitely depend on where you are in the world and, you know, where you are within your country, what your housing prices are like. But Canada is fairly expensive. You know, Ontario, it's definitely not the most expensive province to live in, but I don't think it's the cheapest either. I'm pretty sure that's Newfoundland, at least in terms of property. So to get a bachelor apartment, a one-room, like, bachelor apartment, nearby town is anywhere from $700 to $1,000 a month. A basement apartment is $1,200-$1,500. If you try to get out like a legitimate apartment, you're up over, again, the $1,500 range. Obviously, a house, you're way more. A mortgage might be better, but I've got a lot of this one downside with buying a truck is I've already effectively got a mortgage, right? I've got a $185,000 loan. So the bank looks at that and says, you already own a fucking house, basically. Like, they're not going to give you another, $200,000 to $500,000. So that's one of the caveats to owning a truck. My dad's gone through it more than a few times where he's not getting declined because his income's low. Like, he's got all the proof that his income's high, his income's consistent, his credit's good enough. They're like, you already have a nearly $200,000 loan. Like, we don't care what it is, but we're not, it's the same amount as an average mortgage, so we're not going to give you another one. So renting, a lot of single truck drivers end up renting. So my friend's name is Mark. Mark presented me with the idea of a home in Barrie, Ontario. So Barrie is I guess at this point it's a city, but it's not it's not a large city. It's not a Toronto. It's not a Chicago or a New York. It's like whatever you would call it in between a town and a city type of thing. A large town or a small city, I guess, would be really the only terminology used. I've got plenty of friends in Barrie. Most of my actual outgoing social activities are located in or around Barrie. So it works for me, but another big draw is they have, again, the availability of the fastest internet that Canada has, which right now I think is a 1.5 gigabyte download. So the idea of, A, my social life, given that I'm living with two people, but also B, my online social life returning, is a huge boom. It's a 3,400 square foot house, 4 bedroom, 4 bathroom, 3 full bathrooms with sinks or with toilets or with tubs and stuff, and a fairly open concept home for $2,100 a month. So split 3 ways is $700. That's about the best deal you could get for the property. So we realized, like, okay, we're all 3 of us are truck drivers. The third guy just got his license and just got a job. So we all know that we can make enough money to pay for that, right? The money is there. And we're also, because, like, the third guy, his name is John. John will be home every night. He's doing a local gig. He's got to do that whole paying his dues, new truck driver kind of nonsense. He'll be home every night and every weekend, at least for the first, probably year or two. But Mark and I we're OTR drivers, right? We'll be gone fairly consistently, not likely to be home at the same time type of thing. And even if we are, the house is so large that if we decide we need our own space, we have it. The house is relatively easy to maintain. I do not know what Mark or John are like for, cleanliness. Mark has owned his own home before, and it looked totally, like, clean inside. So I have no idea about John. John lives with his parents right now as well, but it sounds like John is a bit of a stickler for neatness. So I think it's, if anything, I'll be the irritable, fucking, slightly messy one. So if that's the case, it really shouldn't be. I won't have much of a problem anyways. Those guys might get fucking fed up with me, but who knows. So the setup, we decided that we'll do the 3 of us instead of trying to find a 4th, even though a 4th would bring us down to $500 a month for this property. Because there are only 3 full bathrooms, so if you get a 4th guy, somebody sharing a bathroom, and the discrepancy between bedrooms starts to get apparent. I think the house was set up as a family unit plus an extended family, or an extended, like, grandparents or like an aunt and uncle type of thing. There are 2 master bedrooms and 2, I guess you'd call them, like, normal bedrooms. However, the normal bedrooms are distinctly different from each other. Like, there's one master bedroom is enormous, right? It's got a great big walk-in closet, all that nonsense. Second master bedroom has a pretty decent sized closet. Both the master bedrooms have their own ensuite. Again, it's full bathroom, three-piece, whatever you want to call it. The quote-unquote I think the kids' rooms, effectively. One room faces the front. It's got two large bay windows. It's a very large room. It's bigger than any bedroom I've ever slept in. And the other bedroom has a single, like kind of a smaller, almost like a basement window type of thing in it. And it's not a lot smaller, but it's definitely smaller. And they're separated by a bathroom. So the idea we came out with was Mark is currently in a relationship and would like to have kind of his room set up as a little bit of an apartment, so that if we're all home and he's got his girlfriend over, like he's not, they're not, say, sitting in the living room fucking hogging the whole house, more or less. They can kind of be in their room, watching movies or, boinking or whatever. John is home more than I am, so the idea of him having a decent sized room to live in is appealing to him, so he took the other master bedroom. So I get the two bedrooms. I have the most stuff of the three of us. I'm not very good at being an adult, so I have no furniture aside from my bed. But I have lots of things, right? I've got my guitars, my amps, all of my airsoft gear. What else do we have here? All my video gaming stuff, a desk, all that nonsense. So I've got more, I guess, of a need for two rooms, even though the one larger bedroom is more than enough to house all my stuff. The idea is, okay, the big bedroom will be my bedroom and probably my computer room. The smaller room will be my airsoft room, right? So I'll be able to put, all of my guns up on racks. I'm going to try to find racks that don't involve drilling a shitload of holes in the wall. The people who bought the home, and they're doing what a lot of people do nowadays, they're buying the house and then renting it out so that their mortgage gets paid off while they're still, I guess, living in their current home. They do eventually want to move in 3 or 4 years. So, he told us, like, as long as you don't destroy the house, you can do whatever you want. But I would rather, out of respect for them, I would like to do anything that's not super permanent, right? I know I can get, it's like cork board or whatever that has holes that you can put hooks in, which are pretty handy because you can move them around. I just don't know if, pretty much I probably have to, on the edges, screw them into the wall, but I'll find out. And again, 4 holes across the wall in the studs is a lot better than, a whole bunch of holes in every fucking stud for hooks for the guns, right? Or just get myself, like my brother built a rack, like a gun rack, so it sits on the floor and you can lean all the guns in it, almost like how like gigging bands have like a guitar rack and you can put like 6 guitars in a stand kind of thing. I could buy one of those and do the same thing with guns. There's lots of ways for me to do it, but I figured that room will be the airsoft stuff, my band equipment. The band stuff will probably be in the basement, because that was the other thing I kind of negotiated is my band plays at our drummer's house, which is usually the way bands work. The drummer has the most stuff he's got to move around, therefore usually the drummer provides the practice space in the form of their home. But he just got divorced with his wife, and I guess I don't know, they're selling the house. She's not getting it, they're selling it and splitting it, and I don't know why they're getting divorced. I don't know him well enough to pry a whole bunch. Like, he's a great guy, but I've only known him for like 2 months. But whatever, it sounds like they're parting fairly amicably. So, they have kids together, so they got to kind of try to be nice for that stuff. So I think they're more or less splitting most of the stuff 50-50. But as of now, my drummer he has actually moved back into his parents for a bit. If his job is consistent, he might be an ideal 4th person for this house if he wants to move to Innisfil. I don't know. That's a bit far away from his kids. I don't know where his parents live. But that is another option to have, a 4th guy, because he's a media 3D arts designer for like a tech firm or something like that. So he's got a good, like, I mean, he owned his own fucking house beforehand, so he's got a good paying job. I don't know if he'd want to go back to renting a place, right? Or living with other people, but that was one option, I would like, if we were going to get a fourth guy, I'd like to be somebody that, like, I know and can tolerate, right? Our drummer, he's a great guy, he's super nice. And again, he's owned his own home and fucking looked after it before, so it shouldn't be too difficult for him. But yeah, so the idea being, like, I already kind of negotiated the basement is going to be a combination, and I got to talk to our other guy about this. Are you for fucking real? I waited all this time. I skipped all the truck stops. I was going to go use this rest area, and it's closed. Fuck off. Oh, I hate Illinois. They fucking closed all their both rest areas on this interstate are closed. That's fucking bullshit. I gotta pee pretty fucking bad. Means I'm probably going right down to fucking Effingham. Where was I? So what was I saying here? The basement is basically the band space / shooting range, but I gotta talk to him about the shooting range part, because shooting airsoft guns in the house is usually a pretty good way to fucking destroy the house. The guns shoot hard enough. It's not closed. It's fucking open. There's trucks in there. Like, I don't care if the building's closed. I'm gonna piss. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to use the bathroom here. The building is closed. Okay, well, that's horse shit. I wonder if maybe not then, because it's the way the parking lot is. I don't really feel like stopping and taking a leak all over my tires with a bunch of people to watch me. Screw it. I think I'm just gonna pull a maneuver and just bomb right through the. Unless they set up like portable bathrooms or something, but I don't see that.
In 500 meters, merge onto I-57 South.
Oh, there's the slosh. I guess that ain't gonna work. Oh well. I pulled in here and wasted some time, I guess. Who cares? Certainly not the people that run these nice rest areas, that's for sure. So that means I gotta find a truck stop, go off the highway, find it, park it, and fucking go to the bathroom. That's, I think, the part that a lot of the commissions and stuff for the guy, like I guess the state governments don't understand is rest areas aren't just convenient because they're free. They're convenient because they're easy on, easy off, or easy off, easy on, I guess. Right? Like, again, I pulled through there. I got back on the highway. Oh, fuck! Nobody cares. I don't know why I still have that on. I thought I turned that off. I just like to know where I like to get the up-to-date traffic reports when I'm on going around Chicago there on 94. But now that I'm going south on 57, it doesn't matter. I got nothing ahead of me. There was a study, I think it was Iowa that did it, right? Because Iowa was closing down some truck stops, and I talked about this already, where the government conducted an investigation about the parking shortage, and came to the conclusion that it's the driver's fault because they don't want to pay for parking, which is horseshit. I already talked about that. But it also established that, well, the truck stops can handle the increased park load or truck load from the closed rest areas. The problem is also the amount of time wasted. Like, I'm driving the whole time, right? So if I have to pull off the interstate, sit at a traffic light, at least one or a stop sign, right? Turn a corner, go into the truck stop, find a place to park, back into the spot, and then shut down. From the time I get in, again, it doesn't sound like that much, but from the time you get off the interstate to the time you actually stop your truck and go off duty is usually upwards of 10 to 15 minutes. I had it last night. My buddy wanted to play video games online. He said, "Hey man, when are you going to be at the truck stop?" I said, "Well, right now it's looking like 9:45 or 8:45." He said, "Okay." Or it was 8:30. I told him. And it gives me 8:45 by the time I actually stopped. I get off the highway at about 8:20ish, and it was almost by the time I shut down, and then I still had to go inside, use the bathroom, get, grab. I didn't really grab like dinner. I just grabbed some bottles of water, a snack or two, and that was it. The kind of, I guess, the essentials, whatever you want to call it. But it was still just after 9 by the time I got back to the truck. It was why are you fucking waving at me? Like, are you, what the fuck? The guy fucking high-beamed me while I was passing that other truck, so I'm assuming he's fucking mad because I slowed him down while I passed that truck. Fuck off. Didn't fucking cut him off. Fucking guy can eat my ass. It was one of those, it wasn't like the typical trucker wave. It was a fucking, like, almost looked like a fucking Heil Hitler salute, but, like a very prominent wave. Like, hey, idiot. So you for fucking real? Just because you're fucking doing 75 and a 70. I'm doing 68, and I passed the truck, and he came up on my ass and was very upset about it. Turned his high beams on and everything. Where the fuck was I here? It was a good half an hour because I drove around the truck stop, tried to find a parking spot. I'm picky with my parking spots, which, to be fair, I guess if I wasn't so picky, maybe I'd be quicker. But I subscribe to the theory of, like, minimize your risk. So when I get into a truck stop, the first thing I do is go right to the back. The second thing is to try to find a parking spot that has a curb next to it. I found both. The one downside is the spot, even though my axles, like my tandems are set right to the back of my trailer, I do get a little bit of overhang if I back in over a curb than if I drive it, because my bumper is low enough that it will hit the curb before going over it, right? So I wanted to back it, and I approached kind of the wrong way. I didn't count on that spot being empty. So I had to find a way to turn around and back into the parking spot, right? But corner spot, curb on one side, in the quiet back corner. It's straight in and back for anybody that parks. There was a spot empty next to me. So anybody that comes in there, they have absolutely no reason to 90 or 45 into that parking spot. In fact, the guy that parked next to me drove in and backed out the next morning. So, very ideal spot to kind of minimize my hood getting taken off. And again, there's a couple of other spots there that are a little bit deeper, like the back row is deeper. So if one of the curb spots there had been open, I would have driven in. There's one particular spot there that I love to just, I can see it once I pull in off the road. And if it's empty, I just beeline it right from that spot and drive straight in, so you can back straight out. Your hood is safe. Like I said, the nice thing with this tanker setup is I am almost the same length nosed in or backed in. Where a guy with a 53-foot trailer, if your axles are, like most of your typical running down the highway, if your axles are not all the way to the back, right, most guys run them at the kind of California mark, just about 40 feet, you've got overhang on the trailer. So if you back into a parking spot, you can get your trailer to overhang over the curb quite a bit, and therefore shorten your overall length in the parking spot down to 60-something feet. If you nose in, you clearly can't overhang your truck over the grass, so that means the entire length, 70-ish, 75-something feet, depending on the length of your truck, of truck and trailer sticks out the parking space. So typically that means that your trailer sticks out a lot farther than someone like me. Like, I'm almost the same length either way, so, and I'm shorter anyways, so it doesn't make much difference whether I nose in or back in to the people that gotta like back in around me. But I won't nose into a spot that I can't back out of the next day. Like I said, I look at spots where it's like a main thoroughfare that just leads right into the spot or something like that. That's usually in my eyes, the best way to do it. So it's pretty easy to deal with. But where was I getting at with this? I can't even remember. By the time I shut down, it was later than I anticipated. So with a lot of the rest areas being shut down, instead of rest area, 5 minutes. Not even. From the time I get off the highway to the time I get back on the highway, if I go in to take, say, a leak, I'm no more than 7 minutes. Because right off the highway, drive into a spot, run inside, use the bathroom, drive out. Like, you know, they're very easy or kind of what's the word I'm looking for here? They're effective for truck drivers. They're very there is a word for this, but you know, they're a big benefit for truck drivers when it comes to trying to minimize your downtime. Because yeah, like it doesn't matter. Well, it does actually, because he said when you pull off the highway, like unless you know when you pull off the highway, you immediately stop your truck, set your e-log over to personal conveyance or some shit, so that you're off duty from the second you get off the highway to the when you leave the truck stop. You are using up driving time sitting at lights and stop signs or navigating the truck stop parking lot. Or the rest area, like you're, like I said, a minute, 2 minutes to pull off the highway and hit the parking spot. You know, so you're not. It's not a boatload of time in the grand scheme of things, but it's enough time wasted that can make a difference between, you know, getting to your delivery or getting to the truck stop you want to get to with parking available or not making it, right? There's a Love's right near my delivery. I'm trying to make it to, because normally I deliver at this place at like 11 o'clock in the morning. For some reason, this load is 7 a.m. So I pretty much have to get all the way there tonight, which is fine. I'm only like 4.5 hours away, maybe 5 hours now. And I got plenty of time to do it, but it's still I want to make sure that I'm at that truck stop early enough, because it's the only truck stop in the town of Sykeston, and it's a Love's, so they're typically kind of busy. So I want to get there early enough in the day to shut down and basically have my pick of the parking spots. Try to find, again, like a curb spot that's, you know, that Love's, there is no way to get away from the main thoroughfare, because all the parking spots run along the road that you pull in on and loop around in a horseshoe and go out on the fuel island. So every spot there is next to the main kind of thoroughfare. But see if I can find an end spot that I can nose into that I can just back out of in the morning. That would be the ideal way to do it. So that's what I want to try for anyway. So I'm going to end the video here, because now I need to start looking for a fucking truck stop or a ramp that is a nice quiet little area so I can go fucking pee. I gotta pee real bad. Fuck, I had to pee on the fucking far end of Chicago. I went all the way through Michigan, fucking Indiana, and now most of Illinois or whatever. Love going to the bathroom. Thought, oh, I'll hit one of these rest areas. And nope, fucked by the man again. Oh well, here we go, kids. I'm just gonna, starting to see yellow. Fucking wish me luck.